HanLu's 1000 cars campaign. Beside me is AITO M9, the best SUV below 10 million, so said its manufacturer. Its official selling price is 530,000. This one's manufacturer also said it is best SUV below 5 million. AITO L9, its official selling price is 440,000. There's a difference of 90,000 yuan between them. This might be the most detailed video online about the comparison between the two cars. We will score the two cars from all aspects. If they are both good at one aspect, they will all have 1 star. If one is better, it will get the star only 2 stars for the car with an outstanding aspect. We'll see who has more stars in the end, which means these details are better. Okay, let it begin. The headlight. 2 stars for AITO because of its ADB multi-head geometry light with multiple beams at digital pisco level. So it may use the high beam to show the car opposite, including its license plate alone during the driving. It is the smartest system of headlight at present. It is the headlight a flagship model deserves in 2023 and 2024. But Li Auto L9 just has a multi-head LED, no ADB or metric system for smart headlight, which I care about. Second, I have to say that Li Auto L9's 2 meters long DRL, which is so smooth that it has no break points, offers the whole vehicle a nice sense of grade. It is obvious in the camera there's no break point taken by the same device, but AITO M9's DRL shows strobes and break points. If you watch it with your bare eyes, its matrices seem to be so many. So 1 star for Li Auto L9. Certainly, from the aspect of the appearance, I prefer the shape of L9, but appearance is a subjective point, so I won't score them. Many people care about the tire. It concerns the comfort greatly in driving indeed. Both of the cars have the high-end original tires. M9 is installed with P0 tires. Its size is 265/40R22. L9 has PS4 SUV tires with velvet badge. Since they are all high-end original tires which are comfort and quiet enough, so 1 star for each of them. For the shape and the details, we can see that M9's B pillar and C pillars whose glass is totally level with them, so it's beautiful and delicate. Without any bulges, it may reduce more wind noise and be more efficient in energy saving. L9's C pillar is flat, but its fake C pillar still bulges and its B pillar also bulges. I think the cars in this year shall have flat ones, so 1 score for M9. The battery. L9's battery is 52.3 kWh and M9's is 42 kWh. L9 is 90,000 cheaper in price, but its battery is 10.3 larger than M9's. Though M9 can also choose a battery of over 50 kWh, but it requires 20,000 more, which means the car will cost 550,000. So the price difference is larger, 2 stars for the battery of L9. The V2L system matters so much to hybrid cars. L9's 3.5 kWh outlet can only have 60 scores at present, a standard level, and M9 has 6 kWh outlet, which reaches for a new level for campaign, which is larger than L9's apparently. So 1 star for its outlet. Now it's time for exciting sizes of the trunks. When it uses 6 seats, L9 has a depth of 52.5 centimeters. Remember that when it also uses all the 6 seats, M9's depth is 45.5 centimeters. There is much a difference. Certainly, M9 has a flaw here because of the broad, which occupies some space and gives it no place for baggage. So L9 wins so much on the depth. Check it out. But I can't give L9 1 star only, because in light of the width, M9's width is 124 centimeters, and the width of L9's trunk is also 115 centimeters. So both of the trunks of them have their pros and cons. It has a larger depth and a smaller width. It has a larger width and a smaller depth. 1 star for both. They all have a relatively large trunk among the cars of the same size. The harmonization of the trunk also matters. We can see the lights on both sides of L9. The left electric seat may fold forward. The air suspension may change it to comfortable loading mode. The anchor point, a light of 12 volts at its right. Hook up there, the space under the floor is sufficient. All the parts are inside. There are also lights on both sides of M9. A lighter here. The hooks on both sides. Its left second row of seat can also fold forward. It has no convenient button which elevates it with air suspension, but here is a button to move the third row of seat forward. There's one more giant storage box under the floor of M9. It is full of kinds of tools basically. Here is the storage battery, so the harmonizations of 2 cars are a bit different, but they are all nice generally. 1 star for each. Each of the stars had a device. I don't know it is necessary. Since they all have one, I should talk about them. First, the electric pedal. The premium version of L9 has has it by default. Since it is so hard to get in the car, it may scratch your leg when you get off. So I don't think it is a necessary thing. But since M9 doesn't have it by default, one score belongs to L9. M9 also have one thing I don't think it is necessary, the electric door. When you get in the car, you may hit the brake slightly and you will get shot automatically. I'm not so need of electric doors personally. Besides, when we were recording, I got inside and hit it. The door hit our camera when it was shutting. But since M9 has such a device while L9 doesn't, this one score should be given to M9. Now the inside. L9 has 2 screens of HUD, M9 has 3 with HUD. The details of the front configuration are not so different essentially. Anyway, let's talk about the differences. For the experience of the front, 1 star for M9, because its giant mirror is so big and has a light on both sides. There's also one for the shotgun. That's a good experience. Apparently, it's much larger than L9's. Besides, M9 has a glasses box. I've told Li Auto for many years and they still refuse to add one. So the 2 details of the harmonization, 1 star for it. There are differences between the seats of the 2 cars. Basically, they all have heating, ventilating, massaging and memory function which they should do well in. Obviously, the leather of L9's seat is about 20% softer than M9's. The downward travel of the sponge is comfortable, but that is just my feeling and they are not so totally different. If I give L9's leather softness and the sponge downward travel a single star, many fans of Huawei will snap at me, so I shall not do that. But there's one reason to give 1 star to L9's seat. The premium version of L9 has 10 clocks message. There are 6 bulges on its back and 4 on its cushion, but M9 only has them on its back, nothing on the cushion. That's a huge difference. Besides, under the cushion of L9, there's an airbag which can be used to adjust the softness. Apparently, those 2 functions are missed in the seat of M9, so 1 star for the seat. The second row of the seats, 1 star for M9 because of its mode of 0G. The seat can be moved to the middle and then recline it, which may avoid bulges created by the wheels. L9's seat can't move to the middle and avoid it, so it could not recline at a large angle, but M9's seat can also do that at a larger one. Meanwhile, its front row can be moved back and it also has a leg rest. It can also fold forward, which is much better than L9's seat on the transformation aspect. So this is a star for M9's second row. Now the board of L9. Though Li Auto is criticized for its limited space, though there's still only 1 small board at its right. Why is there no one on its left? It feels good and is tough. A kid can do homework on it or put something like a notebook on it. I also think there should be one at its left, but I can't judge Li Auto for that. This should be a star for L9, because if you choose nothing else for M9, there's no board on it at all. Shouldn't there be one at least, Mr. Yu? Since I talked about the big code just now, that is a score for M9. Now it's time for the fridge and the TV set. The fridge first. The one from M9 is 8 liters, so L9's fridge of 8.8 liter is bigger than that a bit. In the way of refrigeration, it uses a semiconductor way which is quite slow, which L9 has the compressor, so it's much faster than the previous. So from the aspect of capacity and the efficiency, the L9's fridge is better than M9's. It's a star for the Li Auto. There are large differences and disputes on their back TV sets. M9 adopts the projective way, which has a larger screen, but when the light is too strong aside in the daytime, its whole contrast ratio definition and the brightness is inferior to the screen smaller. Thanks to its OLED material, its definition and contrast ratio in daytime are all outstanding, so 1 star for each. Do you prefer a small but clear and bright OLED screen or the bigger and thrilling projective screen which may not be so bright during daytime? Now I pulled the second row to the back to change its 4-seat model, so there's not much space at the third row. See the differences between their spaces for the legs. The front seats of them are all adjusted to my standard sitting posture. The seats are all moved to the back. M9, 1 fist, 2 fists, 3 fists. Now L9. Adjust my posture, pull it to the back. 1 fist, 2 fists. Basically, it's 2 fists and 3.5 fingers. Obviously, M9's second row is more spacious than L9's when they are maximized, so M9 deserves 1 star. Okay, time to compare their third row. Let's leave 1 fist and 2 fingers space for the leg. so it's 17 centimeters. Let's measure the width of the whole passage. Air9's width is 25 centimeters. In light of that, if you enter it in this way, it is convenient relatively. Now let's keep the same space in M9 and check the passage width 17 centimeters for M9 seat 2. Check its passage 22 centimeters, 3 centimeters narrower than Air9's. That is a large figure, so you have to watch your feet when you enter. Considering the width of the passage and the difficulty of entering it, 1 star for Air9. The details of their back rows are of the same level gradually. All electric seats, all Type C, all heating. Their back windows are all relatively big. Good job. 1 star for both of their third row. Now it's the details of the harmonization. The third row of M9, when you sit here, it's 1 fist and 1 finger's leg space, about 13 centimeters. Now let's go check the third row of L9. The front 2 rows are placed just like now. So L9's space is marked 11.5 centimeters and M9 is 13 centimeters. So there's a difference of 1 to 1.5 centimeters, just a bit. But since the previous conditions are restricted, so M9 third row is a bit larger than Air9's previously. This is a star for M9. Now let's talk about its driving. First, Air9 adopts a dual-chamber air suspension and M9 a single-chamber air suspension. From the final feelings of the suspensions, it's similar, but there are no essential differences between them. But from the final adjustable range and complexity, Air9 costs less considering its adjustment range in the future and the funny ways like LTA. A dual chamber is more complex and can be adjusted more than a single one. So this is a star for Air9's dual chamber air suspension. About the power, since both of them has a 1.5 T Ranger extender, the difference between their powers is just 35 kWh. You can feel nothing different while driving them. So their powers are indubitably on the same level. As for the gentleness of the door and the throttle, Air9's is a bit better and more linear, but it's not intrinsically different from M9. So each of them gets 1 star for the power and the linearity. Then the endurance. With 4 gas and electricity, both of them can run hundreds of kilometers to 1,000. Certainly, Air9's pure electric endurance is a bit larger than M9 because its battery capacity is 10.3 kWh, bigger than M9's 42 kWh battery. But I don't think it is a decisive difference on the endurance. They are all range-extended cars after all, so they shouldn't be compared to the endurance of pure electric cars. So 1 star for both on endurance. On the NVH soundproof, I compare them on the road at low and high speeds, but there's no difference. So critical. That's the only one that gets a star on the evaluation. So about NVH, each of them gets 1 star. There are differences on the smart driving. Judging from the result of the smart driving, before the end-to-end is realized, Huawei's smart driving system was 10% to 20% better than the system of the Li Auto. But right now, they're same. They all use the end-to-end system and their latest ones makes you feel like a real man is driving. I could comment on the system in the future, but in light of the previous performance, M9 deserves a star on smart driving. Anyway, though I think Li Auto's system is a bit inferior to Huawei's when it comes to end-to-end, I have no idea, so we can't value it, so it's not its level in the future. Anyway, whether now or in the future, the Li Auto's high-end smart driving system is totally free and M9's has to be installed. It won't just cost you thousands, but tens of thousands. So from the price of the system, I will give L9 a star. Having checked them term by term, let's take a look at the detailed comparisons. What a surprise! The 2 cars have the same stars in the end. They're indeed the 2 top cars in the Chinese car industry. So if I give you 100,000 now, considering the differences between their posts, appearances and prices, which one will you pick?